We are back again with more manager news regarding Rangers and the fallout from that old firm and how the fact that Michael Beale has got to go. I put up this poll 11 hours ago. There's a lot of comments to get through, but let's look at the poll reaction first. So 121 votes, 53% have voted for Potter, 26% have voted for Muscat, and 21% have voted for Nuts. I mean, I've already really gave my personal opinion on this. I've went for Potter, but most people agreeing with Potter, more than half of the people who commented. So we've got to go diving into the comments like we have been doing the last couple of days. Really enjoy doing that. So let's go into it. Stephen says, that's my name too, although mine spelled with a fee. Can't afford Potter, let's be realistic here. Yeah, I think there is an element of that, right? But I think the argument for him wanting to rebuild his career also works. Stravo says, Stevie Cool, you would make trouble in an empty house. Here, I'm just speaking about options. I'm speaking about options past Michael Beale. We have to brace ourselves for that. Most of us want it, right? Matthew Miles says, keep dreaming, Junior. See, it's Junior Patter, man. It's pish. Right, anyway, we would never sell a club for £1. They can't afford to sack Beale. Yeah, probably be interesting to see. You can't afford a can of Sprite. You know nothing about me, so dry your eyes. I love them getting stuck in. Brilliant. Right. Tia Gear Lava says 1.5 million to QPR in compensation, 2.5 million to Gio's team in compensation, £20 million spent. That's £24 million. Now, add the compensation for a manager at a club and he'll want a budget as well. Can't wait till April, the end of the financial year. What's the odds if they die yet again? Where's Graham Murray when you need him? I actually thought he was a Rangers fan, and then but I got to the end of that, and then what's the odds if they die again? I mean, once I read that, then I knew it wasn't fucking Rangers fan. But you know what? Like, I mean, in terms of talking money, but that is the problem, right? I mean, yeah, you've spent 4 million alone in just manager compensation, right? Then 20, yeah, I think these numbers are true. I mean, I'd need to double check them, but let's just say, right, £24 million, because we have spent a bit of money as well. It's a lot of money to back the wrong horse, right? I've never stuck 24 million on a horse. I've only did the Grand National the odd time, right? But I understand this point of view. But again, that's from a Celtic fan who probably realistically wants Beale to stay for obvious reasons. From my point of view, you can't just stick with the wrong bet. You've got to cash it, and that's what we've got to do. We've got to take a wee bit of pain. Bobby Finley says, we broke even net spend, nearly zero, so not like we spent money. Yeah, we've only actually spent like 2 million this summer, which I know it may not seem like it, but that's the way it's worked out, which is honestly, disgraceful. Now into the comments of the fed about the managers. Bromian says, whoever comes in has to have Gravitas. Go on, amigo. Dolly says, the only Potter coming to Rangers is Harry Potter. I don't rate Harry Potter movies. Like, never watched them till about a year and a half ago, and then I went, these are a bit pish, aren't they? I mean, I like the fact, right, that most of it takes place in Scotland for Harry Potter point of view, but well, not most of it, but there's a lot of iconic scenes like the Glenfinnan fucking viaduct. I mean, that's pretty over, but I mean, come on, let's not kid ourselves. Harry Potter, they milked fucking 8 movies out of that. John Mayberry says Graham Potter has bigger fish to fry in the Premiership than the Huns. Fair play. Martin Cosgrove says that's the mentality of Rangers supporters, discussing a job that isn't even there. Absolutely ludicrous, really. I mean, how is it, right? I understand there ain't a job there because Beale's still in the job, but managers get talked about coming to jobs when there is no job available. It really is that simple. When fans are upset with their current manager, there is always talk about who's going to be in next. Like when Lennon was in charge, right, in that 10-0 season, it was like, oh, fucking sack him, anybody, bring Eddie Hoy in, right? Other examples, like Barry Robson, they're like, oh, Barry Robson, Naismith, oh, they're two fucking retards, don't have a manager bone in their body. They're just coaches. They're not experienced enough to be managing the third and fourth big. It happens all the time. So for me, that's a non-starter, that argument, really. Potter never bought the players at Brighton. Alan Pardew is available. Nope, I'm not taking Alan Pardew. I mean, I'm going to assume that was a joke. Billy McMahon says, it was former Celtic manager Mon who said you're only ever 2 games from a crisis He was right as well. If Celtic don't win their next 2 games and Rangers do, they'll want the manager sacked and we'll loving Beale. Beale needs to go, I'm sorry. Neil McCann, Barry Ferguson, I wouldn't want either of them. And I know they get the club right, but I mean, as that guy said, Derek, I believe, on Go Radio, Barry Ferguson is a bit of a cheerleader. I'm sorry, he is. That's just the reality of it, man. Ian Campbell says he's on a 4-year contract, guys. Too expensive to buy out this early on. I mean, but is that not a sad state of affairs? Rangers Football Club. A guy's on a 4-year and it's too expensive to buy it. It's not a fucking player. Like, it's not like here we've signed a player with loads of wages and we can't get rid of him. This is the manager. What? So we are just supposed to sit here until what? 2020, the winter of 2026 before we can bring in a new manager. Come on, that's our fucking shite mentality. Saddle up and down. Weird name. Absolute dog meat is right. So who agrees with that? Son of Gillian says, don't think Beale is on the board's agenda. Dropping Beale, sorry. If it was, he'd be gone already. This is just an exercise in wishful thinking. We are stuck with Beale until the end of the season at least. Yeah, I probably agree with that. Beale sent Big Ange off shitting himself. We need a 40 million share issue and let Beale play it wherever he likes. Nonsense. Beale is a paperweight. Anna Adams says, the gift that keeps on giving. Boo. Obviously, they do not want rid of Michael Beale. And I think that tells you everything you need to know, right? So even the opposition fans want us to keep Beale because it's like fucking banter, years almost 2.0. That's when you know that he's the wrong choice. Like, really the wrong choice. And it was the same with Gio, right? See, I can't recall a point under Gerrard where like a lot of Celtic fans were like, oh, in Gerrard we trust, like trolling it, I keep Gerrard, right? I know Gerrard, right? He didn't win the league the first 2 seasons, I get that. And see the people saying that Gerrard was given time, right? But he earned that time. Gerrard got us in the Europa League group stages on the first time of fucking asking. Gerrard made us competitive against Celtic again. Made us win 8 out of 14 games. Recruit the right players. There was a few duds in there as well, but he brought the likes of Ryan Kent, Morelos, Aribo, Bassey, players like that. I mean, there's fucking millions more I could name. So I think to compare Gerrard and Beale is completely fucking ridiculous, man. I mean, look at Gerrard, right? 10 months into the job at Rangers, completely rebuilt the team, right? Got us into European group stages again, made us competitive against Celtic, right? Yeah, we lost the league, right? And we never were good in cups with Gerrard. I totally understand that argument, right? But he made us competitive against Celtic, and he got us up for being a fucking laughingstock to not being that far behind them, and then eventually got us 55. So I don't want anybody really comparing what Gerrard had to do and what Beale had to do, because Beale has come into a team, alright, it was worse than Celtic's team, right? But nowhere near the same. Nowhere near the same. And working with bigger budgets, and for fuck's sake, man. Disgraceful. I don't even want to fucking think about that, man. Lone God said, Knutson or Erling Mo for me. You paid QPR 1.5 compensation for Beale. You couldn't afford to pay Beale's 3 years off and pay compo for a manager because your Mongol board gave Beale 20 million to spunk on gash players. Title race was fun while it lasted. Well, you know what? I agree. I think the title race is fucking done. I don't want to be a defeatist, but that's the reality. I'm not going to fucking pretend that Michael Beale's going to whip a magic potion out of somewhere and fucking produce something and get us firing on all cylinders, because I just can't see it happening. Kenneth Fraser says warning signs were there even in pre-season. Beale signings are a failure already. I can't see them getting any better. This is going to end up another manager, another rebuild under whoever. It will be a long road ahead of us for us Bears. Yeah. And someone said on Super Scoreboard that the league's going to end up like Germany, where Bayern Munich win everything. We need a reality check. I mean, Celtic have been winning everything for fucking over a decade now, man. Come on, that people. I know we won a league in there, right? We stopped 10 in a row. Fucking fantastic. But see, apart from that in a Europa League final run, we have been fucking diabolical. That's it. Like, come on. We have been. Now, like I talked about earlier, right? It obviously took a lot to rebuild that. But see, once we got to 55, there should have been no looking back, and here we are, fucking not back at square one. Obviously, we're not back in League Two, but it's shite. It really is. Harry Potter, maybe get real. Rob Hamilton says, we are too far into this to change gaffers. We have a new team. Think we have to twist with this for the time being. See if we can get some better results, cause to change the gaffer would probably lose us a few more games, and then we would be so. Think it's better the way we are at the moment, at least in the race. You change things that could fuck up. Have faith. Well, I have no faith. Honestly. Right, I know for a fact it's going to get to the next Old Firm and it's going to be like, why didn't we sack Beale when the title race was closer? Race. Billy Big Boy says Gattuso. I'd love Gattuso. Right, I'm not like he has been sacked for quite a few jobs in Italy, like, but that's a guy that gets it, and passion. Sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit. Exactly, Gattuso, and that's Rangers at the minute. Sometimes maybe pish, sometimes maybe shit. No good, no good whatsoever. Everyone agree with that. Matthew Miles says, Chelsea is a catastrophe. Pot kettle. What decent manager can a failure of a club attract? Must be something to do with 1 pound clubs. Matthew Miles, man. David Cassell says it's only a month in. Kissed by 56. Kissed by your hard-earned money. What happened to the new shares 1p ago? I think 56 is gone, honestly. Dillian Charles says, not being funny, but I don't think any manager can fix this Rangers team. Even the best managers in the world still couldn't fix this team. Every manager we've had has failed. Look at some people where they say Gio's the right man because he had experience in some other clubs. I mean, it might not have been his fault. That was Ross Wilson signings, but not Gio, so never know. Find it, flog it, fix it. I mean, I disagree, right? I mean, people talk about Guardiola and, Jurgen Klopp. Are you trying to tell me if those two were in charge of us on Sunday, we wouldn't have won that? We wouldn't have won that game. Of course, we'd have won that game. I've said that if Pep Guardiola is that fucking good, why can't he manage like a Hibs, Aberdeen, or a Hearts and legit challenge the Old Firm? Like, really? So the best managers in the world would get this Rangers team to win the league. I mean, for fuck's sake, I genuinely think if we sacked Beale and brought someone in half decent, would win the league, because Celtic do not look good. I think we'd give it a much better go. I accept but I accept the argument that the players we've got are pish. But there has to be a manager out there. Well, there is a manager that can just get a better tune at them. Stop playing narrow pish. Honestly, like how many games in a row can players just play shite and continue to play? Because it's happening off the fucking chart now. Honestly, it really is. I actually think that the best we've looked defensively this season was with actually Suter and Balogun as centre back. I'm not even fucking joking with that. I'm not even joking with that, man. Danny Boy says, what on earth makes you delusionists think any of these guys would sully their hands on Dross? Haha, Danny the Fanny from the podcast before. Haha, you banger. The podcast? They're referring to my orphids, I'm not too sure. Douglas Park ain't getting rid of Beale till next Christmas, kid. We're 10 points behind 2 weeks after the restart. Who fucking knows? Yeah. It's just soul just trying to talk about this, actually. Mr. Gerrard says, I think they should bring in Muscat because he brought Yokohama FM to front runners up in the J League and he's current manager favourite. Do you think he can manage your mob to get into second place then? Muscat's Yokohama, yeah, the current J League champions, and they were runners up the year before. Not saying a Potter would take us to a new level. Potter wouldn't go near Rangers, mate. And I think that is the general consensus, that like Potter just wouldn't go near us. Potter, for me, mate, it would fuck it all up changing the goalpost. We lose more games before we get to something like we have to twist on this one. Not being funny, we'd get Neil Lennon over Beale. Behave, for fuck's sake. Sarcasm, mate. You know what? Obviously, Neil Lennon would be a sabotage job, but I think Lennon is a better manager than Beale. No, I think he is. He's a better manager than Beale. I do not want to say that, but I think he is. Chris Redhand says, I think they'll bring in a director of football before they sack the manager. We need a manager that is used to winning and being under pressure to win every game. I don't care if that means bringing someone in from Australia, Japan, or the end of nowhere. We need a winner, not someone who's managed a team and done well under low expectations. Yeah, but the thing is with Beale, right? He came in, and up until the first, the first Old Firm that we lost, I'm pretty sure we didn't drop any points apart from the draw at Ibrox. So we the form from the when he came in the league to the end of the season was actually quite good. I'm not gonna, but we've regressed so much from what we were at the end of last season. I'm talking about the league, by the way, not the cups, because the cups was shite. Against Celtic at Parkhead, it was individual mistakes that cost that game, and then we beat them 3-0, albeit that game didn't really matter. So, but I'm looking at Beale now, and it's like, if we kept the exact same squad going into this season that we had at the end of last year, would be stronger and better off for it without even making a signing. That is a fucking concern. That is the biggest takeaway for me. But anyway, guys, you guys have reacted to the new managers. We'll probably be back tomorrow as well, but we've also got a Scotland-Cyprus game to look forward to on Friday. So yeah, until next time, peace.